Hello and welcome to Box Office Receipts. I'm your host Tyler Callahan, and looks like we have our first massive hit of the summer thanks to Pixar and Disney. We got Inside Out 2. We got some other news as well, but you know what? Let's just jump right into it with the domestic top 5. So, it comes as no surprise that Inside Out 2 opened in first place, but with a massive $155 million. Coming in second place was Bad Boys Ride or Die with $33 million, for a total of $112.2 million. Third place was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes with another $5.2 million, for a total of $157.8 million. In fourth place was the Garfield movie, which made $5 million, for a total of $78.5 million. And in fifth place was The Watchers with $3.6 million, for a total of $13.6 million. So yeah, Inside Out 2 broke out big, which I expected, but not to this level. Like, I expected Inside Out 2 to be big because of how long it was since the last film, which came out back in 2015. So over the last 9 years, you've had a lot of kids who either saw the first one back in theaters, or they grew up watching it at home, right? It became one of their standard movies they would watch, 10, 20 times. They're 9 years older now, whoever saw it, and they wanted to see something from their childhood. So boom, Inside Out 2 makes sense to be a hit. This is very similar to how a lot of teenagers went out to see Minions 2 like 2 years ago, and some even dressed up. It's because they grew up on those movies. Now, we got teenagers going for nostalgia, and families are now going in general because, well, it's the Pixar movie of the summer and the sequels, so the families, the parents know what it is. But $155 million? That is huge. I mean, personally, I was thinking like a 120, 130, but going up to 155? Massive. And, now Inside Out 2 has the second biggest domestic opening for an animated film. In first place is another Pixar film, which is The Incredibles 2, which back in, I believe, 2018, it came out with $182.6 million. And this is also the first film this year domestically to open above $100 million, and the biggest opening for an animated film for Disney post-COVID. So we're talking, since 2020, this is the biggest opening for an animated film from Disney. They must be overjoyed right now, as well as theater owners. Look, again, it was a slow start. May was rough for the summer box office, but now with June, you got Inside Out, you got Bad Boys, you got Garfield to a degree, Planet of the Apes, starting to feel like summer a bit. And talking about Bad Boys, it had a great second weekend drop of only 42%. It is holding on really well, and while If came in sixth place, wasn't mentioned in the top 5, I am going to mention it because it did pass $100 million domestically, now at $100.9 million. In China, Haiku, the dumpster battle, came in first place with $9.6 million, and that was with it being released on Saturday instead of Friday. Second place was Be My Friend with another $3.8 million, for a total of $20.4 million. Third place was Walk the Line with $3.5 million, for a total of $20.9 million. In fourth place was Crisis Negotiators with $2.6 million, for a total of $17.3 million. And in fifth place was the Garfield movie with $2.4 million, for a total of $20.5 million. For the international box office, Inside Out 2 did really well, earning $140 million for a worldwide opening weekend of $295 million. It also broke the record of biggest international opening for an animated film, beating Frozen 2, which held it with $135.4 million. So if there was any doubt, there should be no more. This is heading to earn $1 billion worldwide, at least. The only question is, how long does it take to get there? You got a strong opening weekend, you got positive reception, and now good momentum. It's gonna go far. Bad Boys Ride or Die earned another $30.8 million, for a worldwide total of $214.6 million. The Garfield movie earned $7.2 million, for a worldwide total of $217.8 million. Furiosa made $5.3 million, for a total of $160.1 million worldwide. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is now at $374.5 million. If is at $173.6 million. And The Watchers is now at $23.2 million worldwide. As for the news in Hollywood, let's start with release dates. Universal has set a date for the next Exorcist movie. This is the one now being directed by Mike Flanagan. and it is set to come out March 13th, 2026. This is both release date news and a new movie in development. Atomic Monster and Blumhouse are working on expanding the Megan franchise with its first spin-off called Soulmate, that's with an 8 in it. This is the spin-off that will be directed by Kate Dolan and will hit theaters on January 2nd. Universal also set a new release date for Jordan Peele's next film, which will now come out October 23rd, 2026. Sony has updated their release plans for Here, the latest Robert Zemeckis movie that stars Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. It was set to start a limited run on November 15th, but now instead that will be a wide release instead. Warner Brothers have won the worldwide distribution rights to the Formula One film from Apple Original Films, starring Brad Pitt and Damson Idris. The film will head to theaters next summer, coming out June 27th for a theatrical run before hitting Apple TV+. Francis Ford Coppola's upcoming film Megalopolis has found a domestic distribution partner, with Lionsgate making a deal for it, and the studio has already set a date, with it getting a wide release on September 27th. Over at Paramount, now that the deal with Skydance has been thrown out, Deadline reports that Sherry Redstone will give the office of the CEO a chance to implement their plans to improve the company. As for a timeline, they also report it could be anywhere from 6 months to 18 months to see if the plans work before she considers another sale. This means potential asset sales and, sadly, the inevitability of more layoffs. In the midst of all this, Cristina de Alamonte, who is the general counsel for the company, announced she will be leaving at the end of June. Hey, if she is leaving because she doesn't want to deal with this mess over there, I don't blame her. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. IMAX and Wanda Film have expanded their partnership. Under the expansion, Wanda Film will renew up to 37 IMAX locations over the next 5 years, add up to 25 new IMAX locations at their theaters, and then upgrade 61 of them to IMAX with laser. Wanda Film, just for reference, is the biggest theater chain in China, and they currently have 381 IMAX locations in the country. The announcement came at the Shanghai International Film Festival, and also announced there'd be a new adaptation of Three Body Problem, this time as a film. It is currently in pre-production, with Zhang Yimou set to direct it. He has directed a lot of films, including most recently Article 20, but also Cliffwalkers, Full River Red, The Great Wall, and Hero, among others. In the exclusive from Deadline, there is a new film package being shopped around called R.I.P. It is a crime thriller that will be directed by Joe Carnan and will star Matt Damon and Ben Affleck with their production company Artist Equity Producing. Production is set to begin in the fall. The Insider broke the news that a Spaceballs sequel is now in development over at Amazon MGM Studios. Josh Gad is set to star and produce, with Mel Brooks coming back to produce as well. It will be directed by Josh Greenbaum. Deadline broke the news on 2 stories over at Sony. First, Will Smith has signed on to star in a sci-fi movie called Resistor. The film will be based on a book that came out back in 2014 called Influx, written by Daniel Suarez. As of now, though, it might be a while before production takes off, as they are currently looking for a director. And they also reported that Sony Pictures Classics have bought the worldwide rights to Blue Moon. This is a new film from Richard Linklater, who just directed Hitman. The cast will include Ethan Hawke, Margaret Qualley, Bobby Cannavale, and Andrew Scott. Production is set to start this summer in Ireland. Over at Amazon MGM Studios, Deadline broke the news on a new action comedy called Balls Up. It'll be directed by Peter Farrelly and will star Mark Wahlberg and Paul Walter Hauser. Amazon MGM Studios will also be teaming up with Skydance to produce. Sadly, there were a few deaths this week. Donald Sutherland died at the age of 88 after a long illness. He was an actor who starred in a lot of films and TV shows, including MASH, Animal House, The Italian Job, and more recently, Ad Astra and the Hunger Games films. His son, Kiefer Sutherland, released a statement about his passing on social media. Quote, "With a heavy heart, I tell you that my father, Donald Sutherland, has passed away. I personally think one of the most important actors in the history of film. Never daunted by a role, good, bad, or ugly, he loved what he did and did what he loved. And one can never ask for more than that. A life well lived." End quote. Evans died at the age of 91. She appeared in a few TV shows back in the 60s, including Bonnie and Clyde and Wagon Train. Taylor Willie died at the age of 56. The actor who starred in Hawaii Five-0 and Forgetting Sarah Marshall was also a sumo wrestler. Anouk Aimée died at the age of 92. She was a French film star who starred in films including La Dolce Vita, Viva la Vie, and 8½, among others. Ryan Hadley died at the age of 46 due to seminoma cancer. He was a contestant on the reality series Ink Master. Jamie Kellner died at the age of 77. He was a TV executive who helped build both the Fox channel as well as the WB. At Fox, he was also the chairman of 20th Century Fox Television, where he saw the start of classics like Beverly Hills, 90210, Married with Children, and oh yeah, The Simpsons. Jonathan Axelrod has died at the age of 74. During his career, he was president of Columbia Pictures Television and senior vice president of Primetime Development, as well as vice president of drama at ABC. And a follow-up from a death we mentioned a few weeks ago, it was confirmed that Rico Priem died due to a heart attack. There was a possibility that it was due to drowsy driving as his SUV went off the freeway and ended up in an embankment before flipping over. There was a possibility that it was due to drowsy driving as his SUV went off the freeway and up an embankment before flipping over. But no, the autopsy reports that it was due to a heart attack. Thoughts and prayers go out to their families during this time. And as always, fuck cancer. We got 2 new trailers this week from Searchlight Pictures. We got a first look at A Real Pain. It stars and is directed by Jesse Eisenberg and also stars Kieran Culkin. It comes out October 18th. And from Paramount, we got a trailer for Smile 2, starring Naomi Scott. The sequel features a new group of characters and also comes out October 18th. For VOD Premium, let's start with Warner Bros. Discovery. House of the Dragon Season 2 premiered to 7.8 million viewers across HBO and Max. This marks a 22% drop compared to the 10 million viewers the first season premiere got 2 years ago. I don't think this is bad because this is just for Sunday night when it premiered, and more people will be watching over the week, obviously. As long as when new episodes drop, that viewership for Sunday night stays around the same or ideally increases, then they're going to be all good. If it starts to drop as the season goes on, that's a problem, as it shows people are tuning out and they don't care. And a new trailer was released for The Penguin, starring Colin Farrell. It still looks good and still coming out in September. Over at Paramount, Kevin Costner continues to be a headache for them, as the actor announced he will not be returning to finish the show. And in reference, I'm talking about the final half of the 5th season of Yellowstone. The first half came out last year, or almost 2 years ago at this point. And with his Horizon movies, he has been unavailable, right? So the decision up until now recently has been, all right, we're going to end Yellowstone. But the assumption was he would come back for that. He'll come back, he'll do his scenes, we'll wrap up the 5th season, and we're done. But yeah, currently they're filming that second half of season 5 for a release in November. The actor and director came out and said that he will not be a part of it. Here's part of what he said. Quote, after this long year and a half of working on Horizon and doing all the things that's required and thinking about Yellowstone, that beloved series that I love, that I know you love, I just realized that I'm not going to be able to continue season 5B or into the future. It was something that really changed me. I loved it. I know you loved it. I just wanted to let you know that I won't be returning. I love the relationships that I've been able to develop, and I'll see you at the movies. End quote. So yeah, they are already filming. I assume they already had some kind of backup plan for what the plot of the second half of the season would be. But anyway, assuming they're able to finish with no more delays, it will premiere November 10th. In exclusive from Variety, they report that Olivia Colman is coming back to reprise her role for Season 2 of The Night Manager. The upcoming season will see Tom Hiddleston returning in a joint production between BBC and Prime Video. They also broke the news that a live-action series of Totally Spies is in development. Based on the animated cartoon, it will be produced between Amazon MGM Studios and Banjay Kids and Family. And the only person attached to it right now is Will Ferrell as an executive producer. And we wrap up with Netflix, where they are launching their own popcorn in the United States. They are teaming up with Popcorn Indiana to make Netflix-branded popcorn with 2 flavors, Cult Classic Cheddar Kettle, and Swoon-Worthy Cinnamon Kettle. They will be available at Walmart around the country, as well as in some other retailers as well. Netflix is also expanding their in-person venues by building what is called Netflix House. A Netflix House will include activities, shopping, and eateries based on Netflix IP, including Squid Game and Stranger Things. Next year, they are set to launch 2 of them in the United States, one at the King of Prussia Mall in Pennsylvania, and at Galleria Dallas in Texas. And these aren't going to be these small pop-ups that they've been doing here and there. These will be taking over large parts of these malls, spanning 100,000 square feet. I think this was a long time coming, as Netflix has been doing a lot of smaller pop-ups, like I just mentioned, and events as well in major cities, and they want to promote, when they want to promote something that comes out, right? They're doing a Squid Game event in New York City soon, a few months ahead of season 2 coming out, for example. But now, with these, they will have permanent places to hold them, and if that works out, I wouldn't be surprised if they expand it to other malls as well. Variety broke the news that Hannah Minghella has been hired as the head of feature animation and live-action family films over at Netflix. She comes from having worked at the production company Bad Robot. And we got the Netflix Top 10 for the week of June 10th to the 16th. For English films, Hitman stayed in first place with 13.7 million views. Second place was Four Brothers with 7.4 million views. And in third place was Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning with 5.6 million views. For English TV shows, the third season of Bridgerton went back to first place with 28 million views. This is thanks to the second half of the season coming out. Second place was the third season of Sweet Tooth with 6 million views. And in third place was the second season of Perfect Match with 5.1 million views. And that's it for this episode of Box Office Receipts. If you want to follow me on Threads, X, or Instagram, links to those are in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.